In this video, we're going to talk about the intersection of sets, and we're going to focus on the intersection of 2 sets and 3 sets at the most. And so let's say, for example, that we're trying to find the intersection of 2 sets. We'll call them A and B. The way that you would write that would be A and then the intersect symbol, which looks like an upside down U, and then B. So we say this aloud, A intersect B. Okay, we can also say A and B. So the word and leads us to finding the intersection of sets. And the reason is because the intersect symbol, what this is asking us to do, it's asking us to find the set of all elements that are in both sets, or in other words, what do the 2 sets have in common? So whenever I see this symbol, this does mean intersect, but I always think of the phrase in common. So what do the 2 sets that are listed have in common, or what is in A and B? So think of the word and or the phrase in common. And so for example, let's just look at an example where we have 2 sets. I'll make them small. So let's say we have in set A 1, 2, and 3. And let's say in set B we have the numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7. If I wanted to find A intersect B, I could do one of 2 things. So I could work through this process here. I could look through set A one at a time, and I could say, well, element 1, is it in B? Yes, it is. So I'm going to write it down in the intersection. Element 2, is it in B? It's not, so I don't write it down. Element 3, is it in B? Yes, it is. So I write it down. So the intersection would be 1 and 3. The other thing you could do, I also like writing the sets on top of each other. It's a good visual. And then I circle all the elements they have in common. So I can see they have 1 and 3 in common, and then those are in the intersection. Sometimes you might have 2 sets that don't have anything in common. So maybe I have a set, I don't know, maybe I have a set C and that has numbers 10 and 30. And if I asked you to find A intersect C, well, we would say that would be the empty set. They don't have anything in common. A has 1, 2, and 3, and C has 10 and 30. And so we would call these sets disjoint because they don't have any elements in common. And so let's look at some Venn diagrams so we could get a good visual of what it looks like when we're trying to find the intersection. So if we have 2 sets, so a Venn diagram with 2 circles, I'll call one A and one B. The intersection is just in the very middle. So this is A intersect B, or A and B. And then if we have 3 circles, A, B, and C, and we're asked to find the intersection of just A and B. Okay, so we have to pay attention here because the intersection of A, B, and C would be a different picture. But let's just do A intersect B first. Sometimes it's helpful to even use different colors in this situation since we have that other circle C. So I'm going to use 2 different colors to outline where A is and where B is, because those are the important sets to look at. I don't even really care about C at this point. And then I just look at where they overlap, and they overlap right here in the middle. So this would be the region where to represent A intersect B. So now let's do one more where we look at a Venn diagram with 3 circles, but now we find the intersection of A, B, and C. Okay, so the way what that would look like if we label the circles is that would be the region right in the very center where A, B, and C overlap. Now what I'd like to do is go through a couple of examples with sets that have numbers in them. So if we want to find the intersection of A and B, so this means A and B, it also means what they have in common. What I like to do, as I mentioned before, is I write the sets on top of each other. And so I can see, okay, what do they have in common? Well, they have a 10 in common, they have a 20 in common, and that's it. And so I write my answer using curly brackets and then put commas between any of the elements, and that's how I write my answer. Now to find the intersection between A and C, I do the same thing. Now with these, I don't notice any elements that they have in common. And so if there's nothing that they have in common, you need to just write the empty set. And so you can use the empty set symbol, which looks like this, or you can write a curly bracket with nothing inside of it to show that they have nothing in common.